This is Tyrese Haliburton, and you're listening to Setting the Pace.
Look, setting the pace with Alex and Facci. Alex and Facci, Alex and Alex. If I put our jacks in the paint, how you gonna stop me? How you gonna stop me? We can go head to head. Call out your top three, call out your top three. Look at the swish from Duarte. Now that boy got three. We got Haliburton running point. This is the Benedict for the shot. If anybody gon' come in the post, then we got Jalen Smith for the block. Setting the pace, going to the top. Setting the pace, going to the top. This is your number one podcast. Sweeping every team, we gon' need a mop. Smooth.
We now welcome on your starting point guard, the man that we call the franchise, none other than Tyrese Haliburton. Tyrese, what's going on?
What's up, guys? Appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely. So, Tyrese, for years, it felt like Alex and I were on this show like some old men on our porch just saying, we need a true point guard for this team. And out of nowhere, our wish is granted. You come to Indiana. Can you tell us what it means to you to be a true point guard? Because it's a dying breed right now. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think anyone is more of a true point guard right now than you are.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I always felt like I'm a point guard my whole life. I felt that way. And then when I got to the NBA, 2K came out. I'm like, oh, let me get on the game, see what's going on. They had me as a shooting guard. And I'm like, what? And then I started I started this year as technically the shooting guard, right? And on social media all the time, it's like, when they're like doing the little list players, like, oh, this guy's $1, this guy's $2, this guy $3, like make your starting five. For some reason, I'm in the shooting guard category. And I'm like, what? Because it doesn't make sense to me. But I'm glad that coming to Indiana, I'm able to showcase what I can do as a full-time point guard. And I'm just like excited and thankful for the opportunity to, kind of play point guard full-time and be able to do what I do best.
Yeah, and speaking of positions, I mean, I think it's funny. They've listed Terry Taylor everywhere you look at as a shooting guard. It's like, do you guys not watch Terry Taylor play? Like, this guy is not a shooting guard, but positions are just whatever at this point. But I have to ask you, going into this year, what goals do you have set up for yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I haven't necessarily written them down yet. Mm-hmm. I want to be a 20-10 guy. I want to be an all-star. Plain and simple. Those are the two biggest things for me. So that's individually, that's what's on my mind going into this season.
Okay. Well, we got that all-star game coming to Indiana pretty soon, so we'd love to have you representing us in there. So I definitely see an all-star, quite a few all-star nominations in your future. But, you were very vocal about wanting to take on that challenge in Sacramento, right the ship over there. I think everybody respected that. I know things went in a different direction. However, when you came over to become an Indiana Pacer, every single fan was nothing short of ecstatic to have you, be on our team. So how does it feel to be embraced by every single Pacer fan? Because I'm telling you, if you win here, you will be immortalized.
Yeah, I think I was, obviously the shock and the pain, whatever, of getting traded, whatever. But coming to Indiana right away, the love was just insane. My dad and my girl came to the first game and sat courtside and just told me after the game how much love they were getting for people walking around, throughout the arena. And the fans were very vocal about their excitement for me, not only, on social media after the trade and things like that, but, as we jumped in and got right to the first game and moving forward for the rest of the season. So the love has been awesome. That's my biggest thing, is just, obviously I wanted to, make it work in Sac. And I feel like there's a lot of love there still, between me and the fans. And now being here, just kind of want to embrace the community, embrace the fans, embrace the culture of Indiana basketball. That's been my biggest thing, just trying to show how, authentic and real I am.
Yeah, and I mean, you bring up the culture. I'm curious, what is the biggest difference in culture between Sacramento and Indiana?
Yeah, I got that question at All-Star break, and I said that Indiana is used to winning, and I got some flock for that. But the truth is, for the majority of my lifetime, the Pacers have been in the playoffs, right? I grew up a big LeBron fan, so I watched all the series with PG and Granger and Roy Hibbert, David West, my boy Lance. Like, I watched all those series, so I've watched Pacers basketball my whole life, being so close, being in the same division to, my hometown, the Bucks, and, just being able to, watch how they act as an organization, going somewhere like SAC where they haven't been to the playoffs for, 15, 16 years now. It's different. They're trying to build something. They're in the midst of trying to figure out what that is, how they can get over that hump. In Indy, they've been there before. They've seen it before, right? They've had all-stars. They've had, great players before. So they know what the recipe is. So, I think there's a difference in that facet, not only from, the front office who was here with PG and those guys, but down to the coaches, right? Carlisle's won a championship in Dallas. He's been around Dirk. He's been around Luka. He's been around great players. So they just know what it takes.
You talked about how Indiana's used to winning. I mean, this fan base is absolutely rabid for a winning team. We are bloodthirsty like a pack of vampires out here to get back to winning. So overall, I mean, winning, it's synonymous in Indiana. But what do you feel that this young core needs to do to take that step together to get back to the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, like you hit the nail on the head, right? Like, we're young, like we're really young. There's like mistakes that are going to be made. There's growing pains that have to be made. We have to work on a little bit different things than other teams probably have to, right? Different reads, different things just that a young group needs to work on for the game to slow down for everybody, right? Top to bottom, I think, for everybody. And I think the biggest thing for us is just like playing hard, controlling what we can control, right? Like, it's not always going to look the prettiest, not always going to look amazing, but like, we have to go out there, like, play balls to the wall 100% at all times. We're young. Like, there should be no excuse of like, man, like back to back. Like, I look at, like, I'm 22. I played 77 games last year. I think and only 2 of them were because I was hurt. The other 2 were COVID. 1 was during the trade, right? Like in my mind, I could play basketball all day. And I think if everybody has that mindset, like, let's just let's really just fall in love with the game, fall in love with the growth process, right? Not try to, we know we want to win, but it ain't going to happen overnight, right? Like, we're not going to be the best team in the East overnight, but it's like, we got to fall in love with that process of getting there, everything it takes to get there, the good, the bad, and ugly. And that's what will let us take the next step.
And I think it's going to be really more enjoyable being a core that does it together and that builds, because if you're just adding players all the time, it might not have that same, culture type of thing where you're like, hey, we did this together. We built this. It was us young guys that established Indiana and we kind of branded the whole entire Pacers look and how things are going about. But, I think it's pretty obvious you're the leader of this team now moving forward with how everything's gone and with the trades that have been made, moving off of Sabonis and Brogdon and kind of going in this younger direction like we talked about. But I'm curious, as a leader, what does that responsibility entail?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for being a leader in anything, not just in sports, but in any facet of life, is just being who you are, staying true to who you are, right? I am not the type of person, like, I've struggled, I guess, I've led my whole life, I feel like, in some, shape, form, or fashion, but my way of leading isn't the same as everybody else's, right? I had to learn at a young age. You can yell at this guy because of the relationship that you have with this person, right? I feel like there are certain people that I know I can get on, cuss at, say whatever I want to say, and they're going to respond the right way. Whereas there's other people where they got to be led in different ways, right? They got to be, kind of like, come on, like, you know what I mean? Like, show more love and attention to, but that's just with everybody. That's just with everybody in life. So I guess it's all these growing factors to learning how to lead the correct way. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to be who I am, right? I love basketball. I really enjoy life. Like, I'm so blessed to be where I am today. And we all are, in the fact that we get paid a lot of money to play a child's game. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest thing, is like, let's just come together, have fun with what we do. Don't show up here. Don't be like grumpy about, things, whatever, playing time, whatever, missing shots. It doesn't matter. Like, you want to be great. I get it. But let's just have fun with what we do. That's going to help everything.
Love it. Now, this is your first off season with the Pacers, but man, Tyrese, it is a massive off season. And compared to previous years, I'm telling you, one of the first things Alex and I and the rest of the fan base noticed was you boys are out there getting it. I mean, working together, getting that offseason work in far earlier than in previous years for other Pacer teams. Can you provide some sort of insight on maybe, what the guys are improving upon?
Yeah, I think what we talked about earlier, just a little bit of the fundamental things of playing basketball the right way. So making certain reads, whether that's at the rim, finishing, the right time to kick out, reading closeouts, playing one-on-one, playing two-on-two, just learning making the right extra pass, just learning how to do those little things that you don't really think of too much, but can take you a long way. And it works, especially with having such a young group. There's so much time to go, so much room to grow that guys understand okay, we work on this, we're going to get this down. Then that's one small thing. Let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next. And I think that our front office, our coach staff did a really good job of setting certain times that they wanted the young guys to be there. And then, myself, I was just in Indy, the times that, technically guys didn't have to be yet. And just kind of, figuring out things in the city, in life, but also just getting right with coaches and the strength guys and just, getting everything together as we move on, get ready for the season.
That's great stuff. And I'm curious, I want to go talk about you a little bit more here. And I'm curious, you said that LeBron James is your favorite player. Growing up, you really liked watching him kick the Pacers' butt. But I'm curious, basketball wise, what players did you idolize the most growing up? And who do you feel like you modeled your game after?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the teams I always watched were wherever LeBron played. So early in Cleveland, I really got into basketball heavy, knew every player when he went to Miami, right? And then that's when all right, now I really like Dwayne Wade. I really like Ray Allen, you know what I mean? I really like these guards. And then when he went back to Cleveland, that's when I really started to watch Kyrie. And I was like, man, I love watching Kyrie. He's amazing. In my eyes, he's one of the most skilled basketball players that's ever played basketball. So I kind of just fell in love with that, but I would stay up late. I was early on Steph, right? I was watching West Coast games. I was early, telling my friends yo, I really like this guy. I think he could be the MVP. Wins the MVP. And then I'm hold on, time out. He's kind of competing with LeBron. I gotta relax. You know what I mean? That was me as a kid. But I guess just in terms of modeling my game after, I'm a basketball junkie. I really love watching basketball and everything. So I just watch so much basketball. I don't think there's anybody in specific. I just really enjoy different parts to people's games and trying to incorporate that in what I do. And I think it's even today, where I am, this weekend, going and watching my kids play, my AU kids play in a tournament this weekend. I'm watching that, oh, I like that move. I need to work on that a little bit. You know what I mean? Just watching basketball from top to bottom. I just watch so much that I just try to learn as much as I can.
It's definitely evident that your love for the game is through the roof. I think that's extremely important, especially in a point guard. Hey, leading by example. If the love for the game is there, it's never going to feel like work, especially if you're putting in extra work. But one guy right now that it's obvious that he's been putting in work is the newest addition to the team, Benedict Mathurin. I mean, all summer league second team. I think if he played a couple more games, probably would have been first team. But regardless, word has it you had a few exchanges before the draft with them. We saw that Instagram picture over there. Can you speak a little bit about to the fan base what it's going to be like playing with Benedict Mathurin for years to come? Yeah,
I think the biggest thing, first and foremost, is just growing our relationship, learning more about each other, little nuances, little things about each other. And the more we play together in practice and other things, just learning, the right spots that he wants the ball, that I want the ball, how we can feed off each other the best. But I think it's a really good fit. One is people. I think it's a great match in the sense of we approach the game in different ways. We approach a lot of things in different ways where it's I'm more of a vocal guy. He's more of a lead by example, right? And I'm a lead vocally type of person. But I think that he can bring a lot of different things. He can really shoot the ball. He's used to playing off the ball, which is going to work well with me because obviously you guys know I have the ball in my hands a lot. So just figuring out how to play off me. I think he's a really talented cutter. And physically, he's really gifted. You guys see, he's a strong guy, right? That was going to allow him to guard multiple positions. And like I said, we're also young. There's still things that he's going to learn in the NBA that you don't really do in college or before that, right? Physical guys learn once they get to NBA. Oh, I can bump people and then take 2 steps. In high school and college, that's a travel. In the NBA, it's not. You know what I mean? You can bump guys, then get to your 2 steps. And I feel the more he figures that out, that who are going to be really good. And he also, I think, is a very talented defender. Again, his physical attributes allow him to do that very well. And I think he really is a student of the game. He's just like, he loves basketball as well, which that's, all I'm about. Like, I love being around people who love what they do. So I'm really excited to play alongside him and grow together.
Yeah, I thought he was excellent in Summer League, and I can understand why the Pacers shut him down after 3 games. They probably had seen enough. And I think that last game really just showed me a lot with his ability to get to the free throw line. I think he had 10 free throws that game. So just using that upper strength, that upper body strength, I think is going to be huge for him. And I think that's something the Pacers have needed for a while, is, probably since Paul George, just someone that's a little bit athletically gifted at getting to the free throw line and getting, putting pressure on opposing defenses. But this is more of like a hypothetical question, so I'm just changing up a little bit here. But I'm curious, if you could bring back any former Pacer of all time in their prime to play with you, who would it be and why?
Anybody,
NBA Pacer wise, no ABA stuff, but
probably Paul George. Honestly, he's a good friend of mine, but at the same time, like, it's where the game is. It's wings, the game and wings get along really well right now. And obviously, he's a two-way guy that could score, ball well, defend. Probably PG.
We do have some history there with Paul George, so I think if you want to make that relationship a little bit better, I mean, we'd be fine with it. I think fans would be happy if Paul came back,
right,
despite how things were when he left.
We're in our feelings because we would have loved to see you play with Paul George ever since he's left. We've kind of had that need for what he brings to the table. But overall, your passing might be what gets you noticed off the page to your average fan, but also feel like you're a real good scorer. But I think what kind of maybe people can't, sleep on is your defense. I mean, as it relates to steals, I mean, it's through the roof. Can you speak a little bit about how your defense has grown over the years?
I'm glad you said that, because if you ask some people in my life, they tell me I'm a terrible defender. I think I'm really active with my hands. I do a good job of getting in passing lanes, and that just comes from growing up, like being better than other kids and like just reading the game. Like, oh, I'm gonna sag off, so they think it's open, I go steal it. And also in high school, we played 1-3-1, so I was always on the wing, and they never came to my side. They go to the other side. So it was just about like kind of playing the middle between the block and like half court, reading in the middle, getting steals, tip outs for layups and dunks and stuff. So I think it's just like a product of how I've grown up and playing passing lanes and things like that, just being active with my hands. But yeah, I feel like my whole life that I've been pretty good at that. I just obviously got to get stronger to take on the challenge of staying in front of guys, guarding multiple positions. But yeah, I feel like I'm pretty good with my hands.
I want to ask about Rick Carlisle, because this is obviously a legendary coach, won an NBA championship with the Mavericks, and was here with the Pacers during the infamous brawl that kind of destroyed that team that had a good chance of winning a championship. What is your relationship like with him? I know you talked about this a little bit during the summer league, but maybe share some funny stories that you have with Coach Carlisle, anything like that we could get a behind the scenes picture of what your relationship's like with Coach Rick, if anything you can share.
I can think of something. But before I say the story, I think that we have a very real and authentic relationship. I feel like ideas bounce off each other really well. He did like a really good job. And I feel like I'm a pretty good communicator early when I got there, of him being like, what do you like? What do you see? Maybe like, hey, Buddy really likes this action, to get him shots. Like maybe like, I really like this action as an idea for us to put in. Or for myself, I really like to go this way, or like this action for myself. He's done a really good job of asking, like, okay, well, how can we, for example, like, how can I get you off the ball? Like, what's your favorite action off the ball for you to get it back? Like, oh, okay, this is what I like. You know what I mean? So I feel like our relationship has grown a lot in just being able to bounce ideas off each other. And like I said, I tell him, just tell me whatever you're thinking, right? And be as real as you can with me. And I'll tell you how. I'm not going to like, I'm gonna tell you how I feel about it. And like, if you want to run a set and I don't like what I see, I'm gonna say, I don't like this one, maybe let's run this one. Or if you don't like what I'm calling, you tell me, like, let's just try to, bounce off each other. And because my job as a point guard is to be the coach on the floor, right? That's how I've been told. My job is to kind of see what he sees on the floor. And I feel like we've done a really good job of growing that relationship to where, we both see that. I'm still trying to think of of a Rick story for you, but I'll think as this goes on and see if I can remember
Okay.
one.
We'll come back to it.
One thing that I think maybe a knock on the Pacers in the past has been people felt that they wouldn't spend the money necessary to compete with the top teams in the league. Even if it didn't work out, what was your reaction to hearing that the Pacers offered DeAndre Ayton the largest offer sheet in NBA history, showing that they will spend money to bring a winning product to Indiana?
Yeah, I think that we're aggressive, right? Our front office is aggressive to want to get back in the playoffs, right? It's an organization that, like I talked about earlier, feels like for the majority of my lifetime has perennially been in the playoffs. So they're aggressive to get back. They're aggressive to compete for championships as they should be, as any organization should be. And obviously, they offered DA that deal and he accepted it. And, I think it was it would have been beneficial, right? Obviously he's a great player. But Phoenix obviously matched it as they, probably should. And, you just kind of move on from it. But, obviously, like you guys said, I think in all small markets, right, there's always that knock of they're not aggressive enough. They don't spend enough money. And it kind of comes with the territory a little bit with that narrative for teams. And it's true majority of the time, but it's definitely good to see our front office be aggressive and pursue other players.
Yeah, I think for me as a fan, I think the biggest thing is just seeing them do it was awesome, but I just don't want to hear excuses like, oh, we can't get these guys in here. It's like, we understand the challenges for sure. I just don't want to be told that's why you couldn't go after them. At least be aggressive, because I think showing that you're aggressively going after them, even if you get told no, at least we know you tried. And I think that's kind of where I stood with it. And personally, I thought the fit with you and Ayton would have been fantastic. I was trying to talk everybody into it that might have been against it, just because paying centers is something that people have been not very high on. But we are going to transition to some rapid fire questions if you're ready for that. So we got about 10 of them for you. So, answer as quick as you can, but as authentic as you can as well. So I'm curious, what is your Mount Rushmore of places to eat in Indiana?
Oh, what a question.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. St. Elmo's, of course. What's the spot next to St. Elmo's? Harry and Izzy's.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I think they're like a sister company with them, right?
Yeah. St. Elmo's and Harry and Izzy's for sure. No question. There's a Italian spot close to where I live that I fell in love with very fast. And I'm trying to remember the name because I'm terrible with names.
Is it the place that Coach and Jalen went to?
I don't think so.
On College? I don't know. IARIA, something like that?
It's not on College. It's not on College. It's that's not it. Ambrosia.
Okay. I've never been there.
Trust me. And then, my favorite of them all, Cafe Patachou. Man, Cafe Patachou. I'm a big breakfast guy. Cafe Patachou, the French toast and the cinnamon bread, insane. So those are my top 4.
Okay.
Love it. Love it. Toughest player that you've had to guard?
Kyrie.
Okay. What's your favorite Pacers jersey?
Oh, yellow pinstripe. No question. Yellow pinstripe. I got the shorts in the room right now.
So you're talking the old throwbacks, not the ones you guys currently wear.
No, not the ones we wear.
The old one. I got the shorts.
The old ones. Well. Yeah.
You got the blue pinstripe on right now, Facci.
Right now, but also, who is more confident in themselves, you or Benedict Mathurin?
Benedict Mathurin.
What song or artist gets you the most hype before a game?
Good question. It's so cliche, but probably Drake. His catalog is insane.
Everybody says that.
But if I go with the second one, then probably Kanye. I got a lot of Kanye in my phone.
Okay.
Top 3 NBA players of all time to you.
To me, my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Not in order.
Not factual either. Your opinion.
Not in order.
No, I mean
not in order. Just tell us your top 3. We don't got to do rankings.
LeBron, Mike, and Kobe.
Okay, all right, I love it.
Okay, let me ask you this one: what coach on the roster is the funniest? Are the coaches funny? Do you get that side of them?
Yes, yeah, they're
Okay.
funny. Pargo for sure. Pargo's my guy. He's hilarious.
All right. If you could build a WWE faction of yourself and 3 wrestlers, who would you pick?
Oh, Cena, Shawn Michaels, those 2 are locks, no question. And we need like an enforcer. So I'm gonna probably, I'm not gonna say, I kind of want to say Undertaker.
I thought you were going to say that. You're talking enforcer. That he's the guy. I mean,
Yeah, but like in terms of like just the look, like
it doesn't fit the Shawn Michaels, John Cena look.
I like
the stable like that.
Yeah, it ain't about it's just like the scarier look. I'll go with Kane, like
Yeah.
OG Kane, mask, half arm, like
not
debut
talking.
Kane.
You know, he's got the voice box.
I'll be the mouthpiece. I'll do all the talking. They got all that.
Okay, I can respect that. I mean, Kane's fire is pretty sick too, so nothing more scary than that. But okay, let me ask you this: best and worst dressers on the team. So you got to call them out. You got to call them out.
Best dressed is me for sure. O'Shea is up there, and MT Miles is up there.
Yeah.
Worst dressed last season, my man Malcolm.
Ooh.
He knows it too. If not Malcolm, I'm gonna say Goga.
Oh man,
because he
that's
thinks
great.
he thinks he's fly. He thinks he's
no.
fly. But I would say Goga's towards the bottom.
Hey, he's got a nice beard.
Jalen Smith. Timeout, not Goga. Jalen Smith.
Oh
Jalen
man,
Smith.
that feels like a
Jalen
statement over there.
Jalen will tell you, I don't care. Like Jalen will tell you, like, I don't care. Like as long as I'm comfortable, I don't care. Sometimes I'll be like, yo, bro, like, come on, like, be better than that. And he's like, So
Well,
Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith is.
Let me follow up. What did you think about Miles' blue mittens that he wore inside of the Barclays Center for the last game of the season?
To each their own.
Yeah, it was out there. It was out there. But here's one thing
I like it though. I like being different though. I like different, doing different things, like being unique. I like that. But for me, wouldn't wear.
You're going to have to talk to O'Shea and Lance, because when it came to this question, they did not mention you for best dressed, but they went with themselves. So I guess that's what the theme is over here.
That's ridiculous. If you took a poll on social media, I'm winning. So that's all that matters to me.
Okay. All right. Now, since we're on the topic of being dressed, not really, I guess, a rapid fire, but we could treat it as a rapid fire. I've seen you wear some straight up fire wrestling shirts. We got the Shawn Michaels shirt. You got recently at Summer League, WCW, NWO. You came on our show as we speak with the Triple H shirt. I got to know, favorite wrestler of all time, who you going with?
Favorite wrestler is John Cena, no question. My era carried the era. He's carried WWE to what it is now. He's had the company on his back for over a decade. And I'm in the middle of collecting every John Cena shirt ever worn. I think there's like 50 he's ever worn on TV. And I have like 35. So I got like 15 more to go. So definitely John Cena.
When I worked at WWE, I raided the closet all the time. So I got just like your standard "You Can't See Me" shirt from like, it might have been like 2013 or something like that.
Yeah, John Cena is my favorite wrestler for sure.
Shawn Michaels. Also, real quick, Tyrese, didn't Shawn Michaels tweet you out when you got drafted? How did that even happen?
Yeah, so I was on WWE's The Bump during pre-draft. They knew how big of a wrestling fan I was. So I just, when I got drafted, Magic tweeted at me because Magic knew how big of a fan I am of him. And Michaels tweeted at me, and I was like, I don't know which one is like means more, because like they're both. I was big fans of both. But I was actually just as surprised as everybody else when Shawn Michaels tweeted at me. It was really cool. But I've been able to grow a pretty cool relationship with the WWE, and just like have the opportunity to. Last year I went to SummerSlam. I sat for at SummerSlam when Becky returned, and that was an awesome opportunity. So everybody knows it's just a really big deal, a big deal to me. If The Rock comes back for WrestleMania and we're not playing that day, I'm gonna be there. Hopefully, I'm trying to be there. Like, no question. So
Him versus Roman Reigns will happen. It'll be a WrestleMania moment. Real quick, you ever getting in the ring if the opportunity presents itself?
All right, I'm gonna tell a story that's never been told before on this show.
Okay.
True story. Last year, WWE came to Sacramento. I was approached about potentially doing something, not wrestling, but like, Trey Young went on there and took Ray's mask off. The Sacramento Kings shut it down. They did not want me to go on there. So
No.
I sat front row, wasn't able to do anything, unfortunately. Hopefully it comes back, and hopefully it comes back, and it's a possibility. But yeah, I was bummed out.
That hurts. That hurts me.
Definitely a childhood dream of mine. It'll happen eventually. It's bound to happen. But yeah, I really want to meet I got to meet Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
So hopefully I can meet him, and some will work itself out that way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was waiting to ask you if you thought maybe you could get in there with Pat, because Pat's done a great job with his network and all of his stuff, and he's just crazy. Let's just be honest. But I don't want to make it too serious here, but I did have one more question for you here with our rapid fire, and I guess to kind of close it out here, I don't think we have any more questions. What is the best advice that you've ever received in life that you'd be willing to share with some of our listeners?
Yeah, I would say probably the best advice I've ever been given is probably that it's bigger than you, right? As a young kid, I thought the world revolved around me. I thought that, not that I should get handouts, but I get mad if people would do something to me, like I get cut off in the middle of the street or driving or whatever the case may be. And I think the best advice that I've just been told is at the end of the day, it's not all about you, because it's like the world doesn't revolve around you, right? You're just one part to the puzzle. And that in the sports aspect, there's people watching me, there's kids watching me who look up to what I do, see what I do on a daily basis, and kind of, might follow that or think what I do is cool, right? So if you're doing something that's boneheaded that you should be doing, you just don't want to give off the wrong thing to people. So just at the end of the day, it's bigger than you.
I love it. That's great advice. I think we could all live by that. Tyrese, as we wrap up, please tell everybody where they could find you on social media, and maybe just what we could expect for this upcoming season for the Pacers.
Yeah. So follow me on social media if you want to. Don't care. Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Follow my Twitch, twitch.com. Tyrese Haliburton is my account. I am in LA right now, so the setup is a little bunk, but I just bought a house in Indy. So I got a full game room being set up, top, microphones, cameras, everything. It's going to be lighting. It's going to be dope. It's going to be cool. So follow me on Twitch. That's what I'm most excited about. But yeah, if you want to follow me on Instagram, Twitter too, that'd be cool. But just for this season, I think what you can look forward to for myself individually is me just going out there. I'm gonna give 100% every night. A lot of people might say that might be a cliche answer, but I'm just really passionate about what I do. I really love the game of basketball, and I think my job as a basketball player is to perform in the way that would make fans proud, right? To just do everything that I can. And you're going to see the best version of me, the best that I've ever looked as a basketball player. So I'm really excited for that. And then for us as a unit, I think we're just going to be really fun, really exciting, make a lot of different plays. But it's not always going to look the best. There's a lot of room to grow for us. So, I think just stay patient. Rome wasn't built in one day. So I think there's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, for sure. And I was gonna say real quick, if you haven't noticed, the Pacers have had a long history of guys winning Most Improved Player of the Year. So
5 of them.
Yeah, so that
5?
Yeah.
5 of them.
Name them off, Facci. Who are they?
Jalen Rose, Danny Granger, Victor Oladipo,
Jermaine
Paul George, and then did I say Ron? Was it Ron? Jermaine O'Neal.
Jermaine O'Neal. Yeah.
Jermaine O'Neal, right on the jersey, right over here. How could I forget about my guy?
I know.
So,
what's wrong with you?
Hey, I think you can make the 6th Most Improved, because I don't know if you have as far to go as it relates to a Most Improved, but I think you can make the next Most Improved player in Indiana. So looking forward to that too.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you guys.
Tyrese, we want to thank you for coming on. It's been a blast. We really appreciate it. And hey, we hope to, have you on sometime, maybe next year.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you guys.